Ted Cruz put out what is supposed to be a pro-Trump ad, although at the end he doesn't explicitly endorse Donald Trump and he just puts Ted Cruz for the U.S. Senate, which is weird to me because Ted Cruz is not up for re-election this year, so he's not running for anything, so he's not explicitly endorsing Donald Trump. This is supposed to be just an anti-Biden attack ad, but at the end of the day, when you watch what he has to say about Biden, it's unintentionally promoting Joe Biden. So I don't necessarily know what Ted Cruz is trying to accomplish with this, but what I do know is that the Joe Biden that he describes in this ad does not line up with the Joe Biden that we all know in reality. But if Joe Biden were the individual who Ted Cruz says he is, he would be way more popular. So take a look at this ad that Ted Cruz decided to put out, which makes Joe Biden seem way cooler than he is.
When Joe Biden is elected president, when we have a Democratic House, Democratic Senate, we can begin the process of transforming this government and our nation.
It's funny, sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing.
If these guys win, we're going to wake up with Bernie Sanders as Secretary of State and get ready to see him embracing Nicolas Maduro and communist Cuba.
But I remember being very excited when Fidel Castro made the revolution in Cuba. I was a kid and I remember reading that. And it was just seemed right and appropriate that poor people were rising up against rather ugly rich people.
Many of the ideas we fought for that just a few years ago were considered radical are now mainstream.
Okay, so let me get this right here. If Joe Biden wins, not only will he be controlled by Bernie Sanders, but he is going to appoint Bernie Sanders as Secretary of State. He'll make Bernie Sanders the chief diplomat of the United States government. What's the problem? That sounds incredible. Are you serious? If this were actually true, Joe Biden would become more popular overnight, and if he actually committed to make Bernie Sanders Secretary of State, he'd get like 100,000 new voters overnight like that. I guarantee it. 100,000 votes at a minimum. Because currently Joe Biden is trying to appeal to young voters by giving them QR codes that they can scan into their Animal Crossing island so they can have Joe Biden, Kamala Harris yard signs. He's trying to appeal to them by positioning himself as a Democratic Avenger. But if he just committed to this, he'd be way more popular because Bernie Sanders is a popular figure. But I mean, this ad isn't going to appeal to anyone who hasn't already drunk the Kool-Aid. Like, Joe Biden absolutely needs the left to win. That is a fact. And I think that he's going to get most of the left. But, you know, you need young people to actually get off of their asses and vote. That's a struggle that the Democratic Party has had. They don't know how to get young people out. Now, it's not that difficult. You just propose policies, but I mean, they don't know what to do. So if you actually said and committed to put Bernie Sanders in your cabinet and say you'd make him Secretary of State, that would be one way to really appeal to people, because even if they don't believe that Joe Biden is going to push for things like a $15 minimum wage, a policy he supposedly supports, at least people would feel more comfortable voting for Biden, knowing that someone like Bernie would be in his ear and in his cabinet, influencing him, pushing him in the right direction. So if this were actually true, like, Joe Biden would become much more popular. I bet that if he committed to this, his polling would actually increase. So this is supposed to be something that hurts Joe Biden, but I think it unintentionally promotes Joe Biden. So what is Ted Cruz's agenda here? Because we know that he still is a little bit butthurt about what went down back in 2016 when, you know, Donald Trump insulted him and his wife. And then, you know, Ted Cruz kind of had to be a cuck and suck it up and phone bank for Donald Trump. There's that infamous picture of him looking absolutely miserable, phone banking for Donald Trump. But I mean, is he like trying to promote Joe Biden over Donald Trump because he wants to run in 2024? I don't know. But if you truly believe that Trump deserves a second term, this is not the way to go about it. I promise you that, Ted. This is not the way to go about it, because you are threatening us with a good time. we want more of Bernie Sanders. He's the most popular senator in the United States, unlike you. So if Joe Biden were actually controlled by Bernie, if the Democratic Party at large was controlled by Bernie Sanders, they would be much more popular. Now, that's not true. Again, I wish it were true. I would love the Democratic Party if they actually embraced ideas like Medicare for All and embraced some of what Bernie Sanders talks about. But, I mean, this ad is a joke. Like, what they try to do to scare voters is basically say, listen, this guy, Joe Biden, he may not be a radical socialist, because saying that makes us sound a little bit ridiculous, but he will be controlled by radical socialists like the Squad and Bernie Sanders. I mean, I don't know that that's the message you want to put out there, because the policies that Bernie and the Squad support are very popular, such as Medicare for All, a Green New Deal, ending the wars. But keep at it, because this is not going to do what you think it's going to do.
Hold up. Wet. Ask keyword.